Hopefully, are you now seeing my screen?
Yes, very well.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, next slide. Cool. Well, as Stefania and Noreen presented perfectly, the DT4REGIONS project and the Living in EU initiative, we have a joint capacity building in that we are building, and ENoLL we are leading it. And the main objectives are these four that you can see here, like raising awareness and knowledge, stimulate peer-to-peer knowledge, increase and enlarge policy discussion, and serving as a hub of a wide variety of information, as Fernando well said. This capacity building joint program has the aim to, at the end of the DT4REGIONS project, develop 2 workshops and 2 interactive sessions, which this is one of those. Welcome. For video webinars and 2 open debates that one of it already took place that I'll explain later. The capacity building program is built in these 3 main groups. Now we are in the second one, development of learning materials, and sooner we are heading to the last one of promotion and community building, as is a key part of our capacity building program. So far we've done all these sessions, workshops, debates, the survey that everything start, and I'll show you briefly the results since we don't have that much time. The survey took place from December to February, and we had a total of 38 answers. These are some of the results that we could find in the survey. We can highlight that in terms of challenges regions and cities are facing nowadays, digital transformation projects. One of the most relevant is design and delivery of digital public services, as well as the digitalization of internal processes and consolidation of internal administrative processes. So as we see, these are the key points identified for challenges. Also, we have big budgetary issues to develop AI and big data that we all know. Also, a lack of access and management of the amount of data that we are able to develop and collect. Further results that we could find in the workshop are explained here. And the most interesting topics for regions and cities are obviously AI and big data, since we are working on it, but we could also identify data spaces and cybersecurity. And lately, in the survey, the digital twin was not really the most selected one, but we will see that in the workshop, after 3 months, the digital twin topic raised interest a lot. So that's why we are focusing on it. And also the most selected format was the workshop and the case studies and best practices that is, as we can see in the DT4REGIONS platform, the best practices and the stories are quite have a similar intention. Trying to not lose so much time, we also have few more results that from the capacity building, where knowledge and repository features are really key, and we are interested. But let's keep moving. This was the workshop that I mentioned before that took place on the very end of March. We had 50 participants on the event, and these are the results. As I said, the digital twin was the most selected and as interesting topic of the workshop. So we decided to hear our own audience, and the workshop also was focused on the capacity building topics and which topics are more interested and so on. So it was a really similar approach, but from different small angles. So we could see exactly which was the really interest of the people that assisted on the workshop, and everything that we saw build up the basis or the grounds that we are working now today. Also, we had the best practices. We were questioning the best practices, what to add, and people were gave us their insights. And lately, how we had to build our platform in a content phase, so everything that we saw before could be explained. We decided to have these 4 main pillars: the general awareness, knowledge exchange, community of practice, and success case repository. So we are able to, as we said, make this knowledge exchange a real thing, a fact. Also, to do so, we know that we need some training. So we search the different training tools and initiatives that are now in Europe that are working in the same way of us. Also here, unfortunately, we cannot see AI for cities, but Timo, we also search on your webpage and we collect some of your trainings that are really interesting. And you will be able to find all these trainings collected in the DT4REGIONS project platform. And I can proudly say that we had this, as Stefania said, this session in Barcelona. It was in the end of June, and we launched our first workshop in digital twins that also works as basis for the next event that we had, that was the Open Living Lab Days, which is now the last event we had before this, with 35 participants which get really insightful ideas on how to build this platform, and the solutions of all of this will be the basis of this workshop, this interactive session that we're having today. Last but not least, what's next? Today we are in this first step of the European Week of Regions and Cities, and we will start in building up the following events for the next year. And please keep, if you like it, hopefully you would like it, keep posted and join in the future events.
Good, thank you very much, Odd. Well, this provides us with a starting point to our next, the next part of our workshop, which is the hands-on. So we are having now the approach to the hands-on. Remember now to basically what we are going to do is to try to, after this introduction of the context, the framework, the project DT4REGIONS, the actions that we have been doing so far, we are aiming at understanding how to create this mutual learning community with this evidence that we already have from Odd. Definitely there's a lot of things to be done, right? But we are going to be humble today. What we are willing to do is just to have a very, very initial approach to the process. I would like to share what we have already had in terms of the platform we have identified now. So again, if we want to interact with Timo and with the other colleagues in some way, we will have to have a platform in order to allow us to have this mutual learning community, right? And from one of these actions that we had in these workshops mentioned by ENoLL, we identified these different ingredients that the platform could have, right? For instance, video responses, forum publications, my submissions, my profile, public messaging, news, DT stories and solution, a catalog, events, academy, a blog, an interactive map, a translation, a schedule, etc. But of course, if we put all these things just in a website, it will not work. It will not work as a mutual learning community. So our aim has been to try to, and this is what we started doing in the workshop that Ott mentioned, is to develop the dynamics that such a platform should have. Because after the lifetime of the project, what is sustainable is not the platform, is the community has been created around the platform. And this, I think, it is one of the key elements and strong elements that DT4REGIONS can contribute on. How to process, which is the process in order to consolidate, create, and provide trust to a mutual learning community. And the platform allows for the dynamics in order so that community can be established. We identified a number of very interesting elements that these dynamics should have for mutual learning. Remember again that the skill development that we are aiming is through the mutual learning, through contacting Timo and through contacting Noreen and through understanding which are dynamics involved in that. So it's people-centric, mutual learning and skill development, not a formal or informal only program. So for this, people has to be the reaching point of every interaction in the platform. This is one of the elements, right? So people should be the center. People contributing with beautiful stories about Helsinki, integrating the fair approach to artificial intelligence. DT stories are case study actions, meaning that we can focus our learning on case studies beyond any other training that we need, that we will work on the workshop. We are aiming at having DT stories for this as a starting point. Metadata for a linkable platform has to be relevant. So we have to have curated data related to all these actions. They have to be traceable in some way, right? So this is very, very interesting. And I don't want to go in depth about that, but maybe some of you have already identified potential actions on this traceability of the interactions between the mutual learning community. It is important to have a safe place to knowledge exchange. We know that public servants, which are the target, specific target for mutual learning community development here, they are linked to political political priorities, and also they are linked to technical priorities. So they have to be safe in order to share contents. We have to understand which is the process for that to happen. For that, it's interesting to have a sandbox with like children playing playground with rubber, right? In which we can fail and show that we don't know and nothing happens, because the point is just to bring up this mutual learning community. And also the possibility of being anonymous if I want, if I don't want to be a spot at the first time. And we need to understand how this sandbox, how this entry point can be implemented. Eventually, this conceptual and mutual multi-layer map could be a good way of entry point, right? Not just searching like in Google, but having entry points both at a regional level for connecting with other parties in a map, or as a conceptual level, in order to connecting with people. Remember that people is the reaching point of every interaction, that we will have regarding a conceptual map, regarding topics of interest, etc., etc. So we have to understand how these dynamics can be involved. And finally, a variable engagement intensity. Many people would like to engage a lot because the learning curve would be going up and they need more. And some others maybe would be just peak and to see if there is something interesting, otherwise retreat. And this is perfectly fine, but we need to understand how to manage this in order to have false expectations. A few lessons learned already is that the European regions and cities share common needs for the joint capacity building program. And we stated in these words, a joint capacity building project for European regions and cities. The approach to that is not a big academy, it's a community of mutual learning in DT4REGIONS. The second lesson learned is that artificial intelligence field must be analyzed from a wider perspective for enacting mutual learning for the European regions and cities. That means that eventually other actors that are not related to AI, but are related to the impact that AI can provide, should be integrated in this mutual learning community, opening the mutual learning beyond AI. The third lesson is that DT region platforms has an enabler for replicating technology solutions, DT stories from European regions, also at city level. In other words, This approach of the MIM model, interoperability model for AI, we have an opportunity of developing this if we are learning for those who have already developed them, because we know that the learning curve for this is very slow, right? So we have the chance to interconnect solutions by learning from others and by eventually reusing what others have been having and applied and contextualized to our own context. So this is an opportunity. What we are saying is that the mutual learning community is an enormous opportunity for deploying the interoperability model for AI solutions. And finally, DT4REGIONS can be developed as a hub for connecting the community of European regions and cities. Beyond specific people, it could be nice if the interactions and communications between different regions and cities could finalize by strengthening the links between these cities and regions. So this is an opportunity that we are having. Again, please, now it's the last call to change your name by adding the keyword to your specific favorite topic, DT for digital twins, DS and DI for digital spaces, and DI for digital identities. So we are going to develop this, please. I see a number of people who already didn't do it yet. Please, we welcome you to do it. And I'll tell you what we will do now. So we need to understand which are the ingredients for a mutual learning community for digital twins from the DT4REGIONS perspective. This implies, and every of these boxes that you are seeing here connecting to the mutual learning community is a work package and related to tasks in the DT4REGIONS project. Meaning, first of all, we have to create a catalog of success stories with miserable failures, as Stefania was mentioning before. We are aiming at having beautiful success stories with miserable failures, and to be able to build up our interaction from those. Again, it is essential that for this mutual learning community to work, other stakeholders should be implemented here, should be included here. Should they be networks? Should they be private private providers? And we had an excellent example on public procurement from Helsinki. We also need training modules. We need formal training for developing those skills, and we need to identify those. Maybe you already identified any of them. We have also a number of platform features and dynamics. I was sharing at the beginning a number of them, but probably they are not the only ones, right? And we have a number of related initiatives that can enforce these interactions. So this is what we are expecting.